Hey everybody, this is Kevin and your vibe of the day. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all well. I'm well. I'm going to get right to the card with this message. So here we go. This morning I sifted and I sorted, and there you go. Sorry. Prayed, as I do. Meditation and prayer for me is kind of simultaneous. It's evolved, it's an evolution, it's getting quiet, it's moving out of the day-to-day mental distractions of what's happened, who said what to who, and how this is affecting and not affecting me in my life. And what I've noticed over the last several months is every day I come do this, or most days. Well, I do meditate and pray every day, sometimes twice a day. And in the past, probably 3-4 weeks, I've had extra time to gather my thoughts and to get quiet and to be in a peaceful repose. So, no accident that today we have the great and powerful Hilarion, and his message is about divine healing. The prayer is honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and to heal, and your light can support others. So this is from the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck by Kyle Gray with gorgeous images from Lily Moses. And Mr. Gray is about to launch, I want to say, his 5th Oracle deck. It began with Angel Prayers, the Oracle that started his road to publishing books and etc., and then moved into this deck, Keepers of the Light. So Angel Prayers is really about the angels and what the angels wish to see, their devotion to love, their devotion to humanity, their devotion to have that feeling of graciousness and to be around all of us and to lead us into a peaceful, sensitive, beautiful place to be. The Keepers of the Light introduces great masters, ascended masters, those who are of different types of religious backgrounds, if you will. In this deck you have obviously the Divine Mother, Kuan Yin, Parvati, all of these female archetypes of religious orders. And Hilarion is no exception to this. So he's a spiritual master who lived in the Middle East around the 4th century. When he was in his middle teens, he felt called to go to a retreat by St. Anthony. That's like a retreat in the Egyptian desert that was housed mostly by monks and a place of healing. And indeed, at the time that he went, the place was busy with all kinds of people needing healing. And after he spent time at this retreat with the monks, he went back home with a few of the monks. And that was at the time that his parents passed away. It's believed that Hilarion was devoted to being of service. So he gave all of their estates to his siblings and those in need. And the remainder of his life, he lived like a hobo or a hermit. It said he was holed up in a cave and performing miracles with his prayer and touch. To this day, he's dedicated to healing, but also helps spiritual people who've become overly sensitive to their challenges and how they can integrate with the normal world. So the message from Hilarion, and I'll interpret it in what's happening for today, is it can seem overwhelming And there's this need for all of us who are following a spiritual path, following a spiritual belief system, who have chosen, and it is a choice, to become distracted from the day-to-day news cycle and move into a personal faith. What I know in my own personal experience, and I'll share it with you because perhaps some of you have experienced this, as we rise up and become more attracted to, entrenched in, interested in following crystal energy, spiritual energy, the power of prayer, learning all about the divine masters, ascended masters, different religious backgrounds. Myself, up until I was probably in my late 40s, early 50s, when I began practicing yoga, I knew very little of Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism. It was not something that I was really that interested in. It wasn't anything I really followed up to that point. What I found interesting was, even if you are a student of, and that's who I believe are people who practice different religions, I call them students. So those who go to a church every Sunday, those who have prayer circles, they're students. Whether it's students of God, students of divinity, students of Christianity, students of Judaism, students of Catholicism, students of baptism, whatever the modality, the class, the subject, the file folder, if you will, those who worship become students of that particular study. And indeed, those who are teachers, whether you want to call them priests, pastors, reverends, whatever they are, ordained, unordained, all of those who I think God calls upon, the divine source energy calls upon, gives them inspiration to go, teach. And we've sort of got to this point, or I got to this point, I can't say you, I don't know you, where it all looked incredibly similar. Most religious orders seemed to be wanting to say, follow love, follow light, be compassionate, help others, give to charity. And yet in society's culture, it was all about giving to receive, like in order to, I'll give, but I have an expectation to receive. Somehow along the way, we sort of lost this idea that just give. Does it matter if they give you something back? No. Then we find our spiritual brothers and sisters, you and I, if you're on here listening and you're still paying attention, it became uncomfortable to receive. And we got into the lies that I'm not worthy. I'm here to serve other people. I'm here to do my duty, to do what I'm meant to do for other people. Give, 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 give. And the idea of receiving, whether that receiving was, I keep doing this. Sorry, Hilarion. I keep dropping the cards on the floor. Whether it's receiving from our friends, our loved ones, somebody gives us something, and I do it myself. I'm so guilty of it. I am uncomfortable with it. I'm uncomfortable with the blessings. I'm somewhat uncomfortable with compliments. Yes, it lights me up on the inside. I feel good. I get a big check mark that I did my best. But there's still a part of me that is not comfortable with it. And I don't know why. This card, the message, is not so much get comfortable with receiving, because that ego is a tricky switch. I like to call it a switch because it's switch on and off. And you can sort of see when you're getting in the darkness, going into the weeds and the brambles, and getting pricked by the ego that's saying, oh yeah, this is comfortable, I can get used to this, and starts arcing up, expecting, come along, give me, give me, give me, give me, I want. That top down, those of my friends who are in business are quite aghast at how young folk come into the world after going to school and college, and they want to go into the workplace with a title, manager of, director of, this, and this. There's two ways of looking at it. Yes, it could be ego. They believe they're that important that they could use a title. Or you could say it's ego. They feel that insecure that without a title, they're nobody. That was me about 10, 15 years ago. I felt like I had to become the title that was on the business card, which was not me at all. At all. Demanding, entitled, yes, somewhat. One of I think the CEO of the company at the time actually had the nerve, told me the truth. I say he had the nerve to call me a diva, but he was speaking some truth. There was some of that diva energy around me. Hoity, even friends I've known, really good friends, have been like, ooh, bit standoffish. And indeed, at that time, I retreated. When it all came to an end and came crashing down, I'm being personal, I went onto my yoga mat, and the transformation was so incredibly fantastic. Yes, I ended up having a heart attack. Yes, I believe angels, ancestors, ascended masters gathered around the night that I was holding on to being here or being there, and said, I'm not ready to go. And the message I got from whoever was there in the room said, well, you've got some work to do. And indeed, it took me 4 or 5 years to get that work done. And I worked physically, emotionally, mentally, went on 2 retreats in 1 year. A week after, actually hours after I left the hospital, I was back on the yoga mat, 93 degrees, attending one of my friend's auditions to teach a class. These experiences and now this message comes for me to share with you, as I have maybe this whole year. You're never alone, and you should take time to be alone. You should take time to retreat. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, those who are close to you in physical and non-physical, remind you that you matter, that your health matters, that your mental, physical, and emotional well-being is paramount. I've started doing a little thing at night. I meditate before I go sleeping, and I pull a card from Angel Prayers. And basically what I do is say, thank you, angels, for guiding me through the night and for allowing my system, my physical system, mental, emotional, to retreat, to let go, to release. And I shuffle the cards and find out who's coming, who's here, who's going to guide me through the night. And interestingly enough, Archangel Raphael showed up last night. Let's see if I can get him in here, because the camera's trying to focus on my face, not this one. Showed up last night, and the message is, thank you, Raphael, for shining your divine light upon my healthy body. This is really what it's about, health. It's about being healthy, choosing healthy foods, choosing a healthy lifestyle, choosing healthy influence, choosing healthy inspiration and motivation. And this is what Hilarion is saying. It is okay for you to want to retreat, because the topsy-turvy, makes no sense, mundane physical living is really, really tough. I'll share one more thing before I go to see what Melody Beatty has to say. Yesterday, I needed to go into a big box store, one of those membership places that you pay every year and you go in and everything's in bulk. I don't know if there's a particular right time, wrong time of day or week to go in there where there's not a mass of people. So there's a part of me that feels, oops, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. We are still battling with who is or isn't protected, not protected, got it, don't have it. Whether you want to call that the common cold, the dreaded lurgy, the flu, whatever that is, germs are everywhere. People have them, they carry them around. But now we've got this little additional egoic thing about those who go with the flow and those who don't. I really can't get into any of that. That's not my wheelhouse, and I'm not political. Not going to go there. Only because it doesn't serve my purpose. It certainly doesn't raise my vibration. So, Anyway, I do my best to, be lightful, be joyful, be smiling, be good, be gracious, all of those things. Because I can tell when the ratchetness of ego starts popping up, and there is a side of me that would take people on. I don't care. I'm just going to come flying out. Usually it's when there is rudeness present. Usually when there is a lack of respect. Usually when there is just this straight up, who in the world do you think you are to be that way to other people? That's when my ego will come on out. And I do my best to try and put him into place. Like, no, that's going to get you in trouble. I was amazed and, not surprised by seemingly those who appear to be in good and high standing, maybe with the clothes, the hair, the makeup, the shoes, all of these outfits that they have on, and going through the store with an air about them. But what was quite interesting, that it revealed to me that there were many who were void of love, void of compassion, void of kindness, void of common decency, void of being polite to each other. I don't know what to do. I just got my things, got my belongings, and just looked and said, well, thank you for getting me out of there safe. Health, if you're talking about health, if you're invoking Archangel Raphael, God's physician, or any of the archangels, or your angels, your ascended masters, I know for sure that when our loved ones leave the body and return to the spirit, which is part of who we all are, we've all got a spirit running in through us. We're all going to leave our physical body, this physical life, at some point. It comes to an end. Don't know when, don't know why, don't know how, but while we're here, there's a part of us that wants to serve other people. And in serving other people, we're actually helping to serve ourselves. So the message really here is we are right on a week before our Thanksgiving holiday in the US. If you're part of the US culture, you celebrate Thanksgiving. If you're the rest of the world, it sort of comes up at certain times of the year. But whether you're in Bahrain or Bermuda, doesn't matter. There is always a time of year that we give thanks for all that we've got. Thanks for all that people are doing for us. Thanks for the things we've been able to do. And that also requires a retreat, a pulling back, getting quiet, looking at where you are not feeling the kindness, where your sensitivity is being pushed and shoved and battered. And it's okay to switch it all off, turn it all down. Those who come from the light, those who wish to lift others, those who are doing the work, are going to be called upon as more and more and more and more of this makes no sense disruption continues. As more folks are looking to find where they belong, where they fit, who they are, what they're going to become. The days of pretending, acting like, showing off are quickly leaving. The reality of everyone's out for themselves has not just arrived. It didn't just become this egoic bus where all this nonsense got out of, these passengers of ego and what they want, what they don't want, anger, reaction, triggering, they've been here for a while. It's been going on for probably, at least in my knowledge, 10, 15 years. It's just sort of kind of started amping up. But now, with this energy that somehow there's lack, scarcity, fear, the injection of fear, the injection of somebody got away with something they shouldn't have gotten away with, blah, 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 all this. Folks are not listening. They're not caring. Seems like they don't have compassion. They don't have kindness. They don't have love. But those of us who do, some of us may feel like, goodness gracious, where's the light switch? How do I lift up above this? And Hilarion is saying, there are times when you must retreat. There are times when you must sit in a nook, get cozy, get a blanket, find some hot chocolate, draw a bath, find some flowers, get some essential oils. Those things that lift. And when you lift, let's say you take a bath, you put some essential oils in it, and the steam of the bath is lifting you. You put some, I don't know, lavender in there, you put some jasmine in there, whatever essence you want. And as soon as you've lifted, then when you let the water out, you let go of all that needs to be let go of. Do that on every exhale. So, get to your retreat, recharge your batteries. If you feel like weeping, weep. I've had many folks come into my office recently with news, difficult news, challenging news, sensitive news. They automatically share with me that this one, that one, the other one has passed, and there are tears. So let it go, let it out, cry, talk about it. Let it go, release it, let it out, talk about it. It's a safe place. Not invoking people to weep, but it's a safe place for them to let it out, let it go. And then to know that the loved ones that have passed, if it's because they're grieving, they're on the other side cheering you on. They want you to succeed. Those of our loved ones that are no longer with us, they're still with us. They just don't have this physical body to guide people forward. All right, let's read from Melody Beatty's book to see what she has to say today in this book. See if it lines up. What are we at? The 20th. Oh, let yourself play. Different retreat. How long has it been since you played? Ooh. How long has it been since you played at your life? Had fun with it? Our imaginations are delightful. When we're young, watch a child sit in the middle of the floor and build castles with blocks. Watch a child play. Any object can be anything, and any object can be anything, and anything can be fun. Life can pound that out of us if we let it. Breathe life back into your imagination. Come back to life. Let yourself see dragons in clouds and leprechauns and unicorns in trees, and let the velvet and see the velvet in a rose. Imagine what it would be like to grab a handful of clouds and touch a tree. Then put the rose to your cheek. That's weird. Imagine what it would be like to grab a handful of cloud, then touch a tree and put the rose to your cheek. Let your imagination come alive. Play the game of what if? What if anything could be anything? What if life could be fun? That's it. Retreat to fun. Just retreat. Retreat, 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 retreat. Do something, see something, play something that lets you have fun. All right, my friends, listen. Have a great weekend, if it is the weekend, or whenever you're seeing this. Have great whatever. Until next time, lots of love. Bye.